Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Carmen Bryant. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and hello and greetings to everyone on my podcast. Those of you that I told you last week that I was just going to record simultaneously. It's kind of hard to make two different videos and podcasts, and it's just easier to record all at one time. And so for those of you that struggle with the fact that I have big eyelashes and you can't focus on what I'm saying, you are welcome to come over to my podcast. You don't have to see my face, and you can just listen to my voice. And so I just wanted to revisit some topics from the past because we are coming up on the holiday season. And in that holiday season, most of you guys have to prepare yourself for the holiday Hoover. Some of you have been with me for the past 2-3, I think it's almost 3 years now. 3 years, and you guys made it through we made it together, made it through the holidays. You trusted me to come on and talk to you during the holidays. And you guys were able to log in during Christmas and Thanksgiving, just so I can say hello and check on you guys. And you guys made it through the holidays. Some of you guys, this is your very first holiday seasons without the narcissist. And so this is very hard for a lot of you, and heartbreaking. Really is heartbreaking because this is the first time that you're without that narcissist. And before we talk about the holiday Hoovers, I want to bring you and focus you on the fact, why are you leaving? Why are you thinking about leaving? Why did you leave? I want you to focus on not all the wonderful, beautiful things concerning the narcissist, but I want you to focus on why are you leaving in the first place? Most of you guys have lived in a constant state of anxiety. Your stomach is messed up. Some of you have IBS. Irritable bowel syndrome. Some of you guys have ulcers. Some of you guys migraines, headaches. That you have tension headaches. The muscles in the back of your neck. You have pinched nerves in your back. You can't sleep at night. You barely sleep. Some of you guys have eating issues. So a lot of you can't even eat. You lost a lot of weight. Well, eating issues is not one of my problems, but you have eating issues. And then some of you guys overeat because it has become a coping mechanism. So you feed your stress in order to, to relieve your stress, relieve your emotions. And so you eat, and some of you guys can't eat. A lot of you are sleepy all the time. Some of you think you're narcoleptic, but really you need a good night's rest. You're tense all the time. Your muscles are tense. And when you sit in your seat, you're hunched over in the seat because and then your shoulders are hurting. You have to go to a massage therapist and they're telling you that, your muscles are too tight. A lot of you guys you walk on eggshells all the time. Some of you guys have told me that you are so happy when you get the silent treatment because that narcissist actually shuts their big mouth. Yep, some of them talk entirely too much. Some of you guys are glad when they go on business trips and leave the house. Think about it. You're happy for them to give you the silent treatment. You're happy for them to leave the house, but you're not ready to leave. Some of you financially cannot leave. I get it. I understand it. Some of you guys have been you've been with this narcissist for so long, they have taken all means of financial support away from you, and you are totally dependent on them. So some of you, have a hard time trying to figure out how to leave. There are domestic violence programs that are out there that can assist you if you do need to leave or need to escape. But a lot of you are walking on eggshells. You never know how this narcissist is coming back into your house. You don't know if this narcissist is going to be in a good mood or a bad mood. So your mood is contingent on how they come in. Your kids are nervous. Some of you kids daydream all the time because they're trying to dissociate from what's going on in the house. Some of them have created their own alternate reality. They're in their room and they have created their own reality, their own little story in their head, and they live in their rooms, and then, each child may play a different role. What the silent one, the hidden one, the forgotten one, they hide in their rooms. But there's stress in the environment all the time. Some of you walk around like that all the time. And then the hardest thing to hear is when people make appointments. And when you make appointments, you're not trying to figure out a way to get out and to recover. You're trying to figure out a way to convince the professional to talk to the narcissist, change the narcissist's mind, tell the narcissist that they're a narcissist, I need you to tell them to do this, or I need you to talk to them, and I need them to get an understanding. I need them to realize. Well, that's the same thing that a person does when, like a narcissist comes in. They come in to tell me all the things about you and how I need to convince you to be under their control. Well, they don't say it like that, but everything is about you. Everything is negative about you, and how I need to explain to that they do all this for you, and you need to be more respectful. You need to be more submissive. And really what it is they're trying to gain control, and they're just using people, especially professionals. So excuse me, you guys, but especially professionals And a lot of you are just not ready to let go. Even in your language, when you're talking, you're still defending the narcissist. And so you still make up excuses for the narcissist. A lot of you guys go places, and whenever they get elevated, you make up excuses. You're embarrassed over their behavior. We just don't make them angry. Well, we just can't come because whenever we come around, you starting to sound like them, and you do not you don't allow them to be accountable for their behaviors. It's a time of accountability. It's a time where you have to make them accountable for their behaviors. And a lot of times they blame you for their behaviors. Think about this for a minute. And I've seen this happen before too. You're the one who made me do this. If you didn't make me angry, if you just did what I said, if you just did this and did this, I wouldn't have had to hit you in the mouth, or I wouldn't have had to choke you. You are always making me feel this way. You are always elevating. You're always making me angry. And if you didn't make me so angry, and you're running around trying to figure out how not to make them angry, that's not your responsibility on how they feel. If you're angry, you're angry. You don't have to put your hands on me. You don't have to do things to me. Or what's another one? You're hurting me, you're killing me, and you don't understand, and you leaving me, I have to start all over again, and you don't understand, and it's your fault that I failed, and if this happens, I'm going to jail. No, that's their responsibility, but you take upon their responsibility. You take upon what they're doing as if it's your responsibility. So you're trying to work on something that has nothing to do with you, but has everything to do with them. You have to hold them accountable. A lot of you just need to go. But this is the thing that I say over and over again. Some of you can't just get up and go because you have children. And a lot of them will use that against you. If you get up and go and try to leave with your children, they can get you for kidnapping. They'll use anything in the court of law. Remember that. They'll use anything in the court of law. And if you jump up and just leave with your children, they can get you for kidnapping the children. They can use that against you in the court. That's why I tell you guys, use these agencies. You have the domestic violence hotline. You have the domestic violence agencies that will assist you in your escape, so that when you take your children to leave, they will assist you in the escape so they can't hold it against you in court. If you try to cut, some of you guys are trying to do it by yourself. So when you're trying to do it by yourself, it's not going to work. They'll use it against you in the court. And just remember, when you get in the courtroom, that is one of their biggest stages to act. And a lot of you talk too much. And I'm putting a lot of information in this video, but a lot of you talk too much in court. And we'll do another video on that too. You talk too much because you're trying to defend yourself. And they're wearing your tail out because that is their stomping ground to convince the judge to act. But you have to remember why you're leaving, why you left, why you discarded, or if they discarded you and you couldn't do the discard, why am I getting out of here? You remember those sleepless nights. You remember that when they were out hunting new supply, and this is something that I wanted to share too. When a narcissist is out hunting new supply, a lot of times they ghost you, or a lot of times they give you the silent treatment. But remember, they have to exert a lot of energy in pulling that new supply. And so they have to get energy. Remember, they're always trying to get fuel from someone. And so they're always takers. When they are trying to get new supply, they're giving out a lot of energy, a lot of supply. So they have to come back to you to get the supply or whatever other supply that they have. But now think about it. They're trying to make a good impression on this new supply. And so there are things that this new supply does that just ticks them off. That just irks them, but they can't lose it like they do with you because they're comfortable with you. And so the person that pays for the new supplies attitude, or they say something smart, or remember, they keep tabs, but 9 times out of 10, you'll get the backlash. So a lot of times when you're at home, you don't know what you're going to get when that person comes home, because you end up paying the price for that new supply, getting smart with them, cussing them out, saying something, and they can't let their guards down at that they can't let that mask slip because they're still trying to pull that supply. Now remember, what the new supply doesn't understand is, or that secondary supply doesn't understand is, oh, there's a price that you're going to pay for what you're doing. Oh, you're going to pay the price. Oh, don't even worry. But in the time being that I'm trying to pull you, they'll turn around and put it on you. So you get accused for a lot of things, and sometimes you wonder, where did this come from? You haven't seen them all day. They come in like, and you're like, hey, can you put your shoes back over there because I just cleaned the floor? That's what I'm talking about. You're always accusing me of something, and I'm tired of you disrespecting me. And you're like, what in the world? And some of you guys are confused, like, what in the world? Where did this come from? I just asked you to put the shoes over there because I cleaned the floor. Has nothing to do with you, but it has something to do with a new supply or someone around them. Could be a new employer, whatever. but they can't so you're getting the backlash of whoever it is that has hurt them or caused a narcissistic injury. And especially if they're out there trying to get new supply, and they have to, it's that facade. They have to be the perfect person. Like, wow, I went off on him or her, and they handle it so well. That's because they don't realize that there's someone in the background, which is the primary supply, that is getting the heat and the abuse, and you're paying the price. That's just like whenever they leave, like they discarded you and they go to the new supply, and then you're the old supply, and you have finally figured out what you're dealing with, and you have come to the realization, and you shut them off. And all of a sudden, you're causing all these narcissistic injuries because you don't play the game with them. You no contact, gray rock, yes, no, whatever. I don't have time for you. Quit talking to me. Block them, whatever. That new supply now pays the price for the old supply. So whatever the old supply is doing now, they're trying to pull on that old supply. Now the new supply is paying for everything that you did. And then you are not affected by the things that they do anymore. So guess who gets the heat? You can take them to court. You can raise their child support. You can get them, whatever you do, anything. That new supply now is going to pay the price, and don't start dating again. Don't meet someone and then is a healthy person and is going to be much better than that old narcissist. Oh, that new supply is going to pay for it. And just like you, she doesn't even know why is this happening? Why? And like I said, most of you guys are walking on eggshells at home. You're nervous all the time. You hear the car pull up. You hear the garage door open. You see them you see a car that looks similar to them. And all that time you may have been at home or you were at peace. And all of a sudden they come and you're just anxious. Your stomach is hurting. Your chest is tight. Some of you guys, they go on business trip and you are so happy that you finally have some peace and quiet. I have the whole weekend to myself to get myself together. I'm so happy that this person is not in the house. And they'll come back and they'll antagonize you and torment you because you were too much at peace. You didn't do anything while I was gone. You just sat around watching TV and eating bonbons, which you guys know probably we don't do, but but you just sat at home. You did nothing. So now you're being accused of not doing enough because you were at peace. So now they're angry because you were supposed to be suffering when they weren't around, but you were at peace. So now they're going to antagonize you. They never let you be at peace. They don't like to see you happy. They never like to see you happy. They don't like to see you at peace. They don't like to see you joyful. They don't like to see you progressing. They don't like to see you doing anything positive because it's a competition. It's just like my mentor said, anytime a person is competing with you, a competitive person is a person that has a problem with their own self-esteem. They're insecure. A person that competes all the time is a person that's insecure. And I'm not talking about sporting events. I'm talking about individual people that compete with you all the time, that always have to prove you wrong or is better or try to be better than you. Those are people that are insecure. That's the only reason why you compete with people like that. So you got to remember why you're leaving. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to talk about the holiday Hoover, but I wanted to lead you up into it because I want you to remember not all the wonderful things. I want you to remember why you're trying to leave, why you have left, why you have cut them off, and the peace and quiet that you have now. Some of you guys are afraid of the peace and quiet that you have now because it feels like you should be doing something, or I'm wrong for having peace and quiet because they made you feel like you were wrong for having peace and quiet. So you're sitting in your home with your fireplace or whatever you're doing, looking at your fish or whatever you're doing in your home, you're at peace and quiet, but you feel guilty. You feel guilty as if you're not supposed to be doing it because of the fact that they made you feel that way. So now they're not even there and you still got those narcissistic fleas, that residue, that fog, that mist, and you are not even thinking for yourself anymore. You're still acting upon the thoughts and the behaviors of that narcissist, and that narcissist is dead, long gone, or you have disconnected and you're in your own home. But you always feel like you should be doing something. You should never be resting. No, you rest. You enjoy your time. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to talk about that holiday Hoover. But right now, thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you guys for being patient with me. I'm working on some projects for you guys, so I appreciate it. For those of you that do not know who I am Dr. Carmen Bryant. This is Overcoming Narcissist Abuse, and I'm also on podcast. So I am on Podbean. That's the main platform. Podbean, iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, iHeartRadio. But I am on there, and you can come to the main platform, which is Podbean, and you can subscribe to my channel. If you don't have time to watch the videos, you can listen to it. And thank you guys so much. Those of you that are in the state of Washington, you are welcome to contact me at drcarmenbryant@outlook.com. That is drcarmenbryant@outlook.com. And you can inquire about counseling in the state of Washington. If you are not in the state of Washington, you are outside the state of Washington, I can only offer you coaching, which is different than mental health counseling or behavioral counseling, because I will not discuss behavioral health. I will not discuss PTSD and those things. We're going to discuss how to make goals or to follow up with your goals and plans if you're trying to get out, if you're trying to stay out, how to maneuver, dealing with this narcissist, or to get more education about the particular narcissist that you're dealing with, because each individual is unique. And so you're welcome to contact me at the same email address, drcarmenbryant@outlook.com, and I will provide you with some coaching fees. Those of you that need counseling and you're outside the state of Washington, there is a sponsored link, which is betterhelp.com/Dr. Carmen. Is it Dr. Carmen? Yeah, Dr. Carmen. BetterHelp.com/Dr. Carmen, which will provide you with a 10% discount on counseling. There are counselors, licensed counselors in all the states, and even in Canada. They're in Canada, and when you ask or you vet counselors, ask them if they understand. Okay, do you understand narcissist abuse? No. Ask them if they understand post-traumatic stress, domestic violence, the long-term effects of domestic violence, parental alienation, complex post-traumatic stress. And a lot of you need counseling first. Get counseling before you get coaching. Get counseling by a licensed or certified counselor. Ask them about their credentials, and you can get counseling. If you're having financial difficulties, talk to them, and they may be able to provide you with a grant. And that's betterhelp.com/Dr. Carmen. I am not providing counseling on that app at that time. And even if I were, it'd still only be in the state of Washington. I'm licensed in the state of Washington. And thank you guys so much. I do have a book. It's called Unmasking the Illusion of Perfection. You can find it on Barnes & Noble or on Amazon, ebook, Kindle, hard copy, or soft copy. And also make sure you check out my mentor's YouTube channel. It is Helen Sadler, Destiny Helper, and she provides you with information about narcissist abuse from a spiritual and biblical perspective. She is the presiding prelay of Into His Chambers Global Ministries. She's the presiding prelay, and she has hundreds of ministries under her, and also in Nigeria. She has a ministry in Nigeria. So if you are interested in listening to her, Destiny Helper, it is Helen Sadler, Destiny Helper on YouTube. My big sister is also doing videos on Periscope. On Periscope, you can find it under Kathy Gibson. And they just did 2 videos, her and her mother, Apostle Helen Sadler, on forgiveness. That is very, very, very relevant, and it talks about forgiving yourself. This last one, every Monday she's on live. So go to Periscope, Kathy Gibson, and her and her mother just did a video on Monday, and on Monday they were talking about forgiveness, forgiving yourself. And some of you guys need to forgive yourself. I'm going to do a video on that as well. Some of you guys need to forgive yourself. You didn't know. And if you knew, I'm quite sure you wouldn't have, things wouldn't have happened like they did. But some of you parents have to forgive yourself because you didn't have the information you have now. And so once again, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for being here. You guys go and be great.